It was an ordinary Tuesday morning when the sky changed forever. Massive ships appeared near the moon, their dark metal hulls blocking out the stars. They were bigger than cities, with strange lights that pulsed along their sides. Every screen on Earth suddenly showed the same face. The alien had gray skin with small ridges on its forehead. Its eyes were large and yellow with thin black pupils. Admiral Zortek of the Galactic Hegemony spoke in a deep, slow voice that had been translated to English. People of Earth, your planet now belongs to the Galactic Hegemony. You have 7 days to surrender control of all governments, resources, and military forces. If you refuse, we will destroy your major cities one by one until you comply. This is not a negotiation. The message played over and over on every device. People in the streets stopped and stared at the giant screens on buildings. Mothers held their children close. Some people ran to stores to buy food and water. Others just stood still, too shocked to move. In Washington, D.C., President Susan Powell called an emergency meeting. The United Defense Council gathered in a secure room deep under the White House. 20 men and women sat around a large table, their faces tense with worry. What are our options? President Powell asked. She was a tall woman with short gray hair and eyes that missed nothing. General William Carter stood up. He wore a uniform with many medals, and his face showed the years he had spent in wars around the world. Madam President, if we fight with our current weapons, we will lose, he said. Their ships are too advanced. Our missiles would not even reach them. The room fell silent. Then a woman with dark hair tied back in a neat bun spoke up. This was Dr. Olivia Martinez, who had studied alien languages for years. There's something odd about their message, she said. The way they speak suggests they expect us to give up without a fight, almost like they've done this many times before with other planets. President Powell nodded slowly. And what if we don't follow their script? That's when General Carter pressed a button on the table. A hidden screen appeared on the wall, showing a video feed from space. The image showed a large hangar built into the dark side of the moon. Inside were ships, human ships, lined up in neat rows. Madam President, it's time to reveal Operation Thunderhead, he said. Dr. Martinez gasped. It's real. I thought it was just a rumor. General Carter shook his head. For 50 years, we've been building. Every country contributed in secret. We used metal from asteroids so no one would notice resources missing on Earth. We studied the alien scout ships that crashed in remote areas. We learned their technology, improved it, and built our own fleet. President Powell stood up and walked to the window. She could see people in the streets below, scared and confused. How many ships do we have? She asked. 300 major warships and over 1,000 fighter craft, said General Carter, all hidden throughout our solar system. The aliens have no idea they exist. President Powell turned back to the room. And our chances if we fight? Better than they think, said General Carter with a small smile. Much better. The president took a deep breath and nodded. Contact all commanders. Tell them to prepare their ships but stay hidden until my signal. She turned to a young man at a computer. I need to address the nation in 1 hour. Tell them I will speak about our response to the alien threat. As the council members left to carry out their tasks, President Powell stayed behind with General Carter. Will it be enough, William? She asked quietly. I don't know, he admitted. But I do know this. If they want Earth, they'll have to fight for it. Outside, the alien ships loomed in the sky, waiting for humanity to surrender. They had no idea what was coming. Commander John Reeves was asleep when the alarm sounded. He jumped out of bed in his small room at the secret lunar base called Artemis. The base was built inside a crater on the dark side of the moon, hidden from Earth and alien eyes. Commander, you need to see this, said his second-in-command through the speaker. 5 minutes later, John stood in the command center looking at the large screens. They showed the alien ships near Earth and played the message from Admiral Zortek. So it's finally happening, John said quietly. He had trained for this day for 15 years, but still felt his heart beating faster. His computer beeped. A new message had arrived, marked with the highest security code. John read it and took a deep breath. "Sound the alert," he ordered. "Wake everyone up. Operation Thunderhead is active." All through the hidden base, lights came on. Men and women jumped out of bed and rushed to their stations. They had practiced this many times, but now it was real. John walked to the large window that looked out over the main hangar. There, resting on massive supports, was the U.S. Defiant. The ship was almost a mile long, with smooth black metal that seemed to drink in the light. It was the most powerful warship humans had ever built, and it was his to command. Similar scenes played out across the solar system. On Mars, Commander Lisa Miller received her orders. On Europa, Commander Paul Davis prepared his fleet. In the asteroid belt, Commander Grace Wilson woke her crew. Earth's hidden ships were coming to life. Back on the Defiant, Chief Engineer Samantha Wright worked with her team to prepare the ship's engines. She had helped design the special drives that would make the ship move faster than light. "All systems check out," she told Commander Reeves. "We're ready to fly." In another part of the ship, Lieutenant Ryan Martinez prepared his fighter pilots. They stood around a table looking at maps of the solar system. "The aliens have positioned their ships here, here, and here," Ryan said, pointing to different spots. "They don't know about us yet, which gives us the advantage of surprise." His pilots nodded. They were the best Earth had to offer, chosen from every country and trained in secret. 12 hours after the alien ultimatum, the Defiant lifted off from the lunar base. Its engines made almost no sound as it rose into space. Special shields hid it from radar and other detection systems. One by one, all across the solar system, Earth's hidden fleet came to life. Some ships were as large as cities. Others were small, fast fighters. All had been built with one purpose: to defend Earth. The ships gathered at a point beyond Neptune. By the time they all arrived, they formed an impressive sight. 300 large warships and over 1,000 smaller craft, arranged in perfect formation. Admiral Catherine Freeman arrived on her flagship, the U.S. Resolute. She was an older woman with steel-gray hair and eyes that had seen many battles on Earth. Now she would lead humanity's first space battle. "Put me through to all ships," she ordered. Her face appeared on screens throughout the fleet. Every captain, every crew member, every fighter pilot watched and listened. "Men and women of Earth's Defense Force," Admiral Freeman began. "For generations, we have prepared for this day in secret. The Galactic hegemony believes they have found an easy target. They expect us to surrender without a fight." She paused and looked directly into the camera. "They are wrong. Earth will not bow. Earth will not surrender. And soon, the hegemony will learn that humans are not to be underestimated." A cheer went up throughout the fleet. On the Defiant, Commander Reeves felt a surge of pride. "Battle stations," he ordered. "Prepare jump drives. We move on the Admiral's signal." The hidden Armada was ready. The countdown to humanity's first interstellar battle had begun. 5 days had passed since the aliens arrived. On their massive command ship, Admiral Zortek watched Earth with growing impatience. His yellow eyes narrowed as he studied the blue planet. "Any response to our demand?" he asked his second-in-command. "None, Admiral," replied Commander Vex. They seemed to be discussing among themselves. "Our sensors detect increased communications and movement, but no military action." Zortek nodded. "As expected. They are frightened and confused. It is the same with all primitive species when we arrive." Little did the hegemony know that Earth's response was already in motion. While their sensors watched Earth's surface, they failed to detect the fleet gathering beyond Neptune. On Earth, President Powell addressed the United Nations. Representatives from every country had gathered to hear her speak. "The Galactic hegemony expects us to surrender in 2 more days," she said. "We have asked for more time, claiming we need to prepare our surrender terms. This will give our fleet the time they need to get into position." Meanwhile, Admiral Freeman's fleet was on the move. The ships used a special jump system that let them travel very short distances very quickly. They moved in small groups, positioning themselves around the hegemony ships in a carefully planned pattern. On the U.S. Defiant, Communications Officer Daniel Harris worked in a small room filled with screens and equipment. His job was to listen to the aliens' messages to each other. "Commander Reeves," he called out suddenly, "I've decoded some of their transmissions. You need to hear this." John Reeves hurried over. Daniel played a recording of alien voices, now translated to English. "Main fleet reports successful operations in the Proxima system," said one voice. "Minimal resistance. Planet secured in 3 days." "Excellent," replied another voice. "Once Earth is secured, we will have completed this sector. The collection ships can begin harvesting useful resources and specimens." John's face grew grim. "So we're right. This is just a scouting force. They have a much larger fleet elsewhere." Daniel nodded. "Yes, sir. And it sounds like they've done this many times before. They don't expect much resistance. They're in for a surprise," John said. "Send this to Admiral Freeman immediately." As the deadline approached, President Powell requested a direct communication with Admiral Zortek. Her face appeared on a screen in the alien command ship. "Admiral Zortek," she said formally, "I speak for Earth. We have considered your demand for surrender." The alien admiral leaned forward, expecting to hear terms of surrender. "Humanity does not surrender," President Powell continued, her voice growing stronger. "Humanity endures. And today, humanity fights back." Before Zortek could respond, Admiral Freeman gave the order. All across the solar system, Earth's ships dropped their cloaking shields at the same moment. Suddenly, the hegemony sensors showed hundreds of warships surrounding them in a perfect attack formation. On the hegemony command ship, alarms blared. Officers rushed to battle stations. Admiral Zortek stared at the display in disbelief. "Impossible," he whispered. "They are a pre-spaceflight civilization. Our intelligence reports." "We're wrong," Commander Vex finished. "They have ships, many ships, and weapons similar to ours." Admiral Zortek quickly recovered from his shock. "Battle formations," he ordered. "All ships prepare to engage." The hegemony fleet began to move, but they were caught off guard. Earth's ships had already taken up perfect positions for attack. Admiral Freeman's voice transmitted to every human ship. "All vessels, this is Admiral Freeman. The time has come to defend our home. Attack pattern Alpha. Engage the enemy." The space between Earth and the moon lit up with the first shots of the battle. Bright beams of energy crossed the void, striking alien shields. Fighter craft from both sides launched into the fray. Humanity's first interstellar war had begun. The galactic hegemony had expected an easy conquest. Instead, they found themselves fighting for survival against a foe they had severely underestimated. The battle erupted across the space between Earth and the moon. Bright flashes of energy weapons lit up the darkness as hundreds of ships engaged in combat. Admiral Zortek quickly overcame his initial shock. "Form defensive positions," he ordered. "Bring main weapons online. These humans will learn their place." But the hegemony ships struggled to reposition. Earth's fleet had surrounded them completely, attacking from all directions at once. Captain Lisa Rodriguez commanded the U.S. Valiant, a sleek warship equipped with the newest human technology. "Activate blink drive," she ordered her crew. The Valiant disappeared from its position and reappeared seconds later behind an enemy cruiser. Before the alien ship could react, the Valiant fired its main weapons, striking the cruiser's engines. Then it blinked away again, appearing somewhere else to continue the attack. 5 more human ships equipped with the same technology followed her lead. They appeared and disappeared across the battlefield, striking the enemy and vanishing before they could be hit. "What is happening?" Zortek demanded as reports of damage came in from multiple ships. "How are they doing this?" Commander Vex studied the battle display. Their ships have some kind of jump technology we've never seen before. They can move instantly across short distances. On another part of the battlefield, Commander Peter Johnson led a group of smaller, faster ships. These stealth frigates moved silently toward the largest hegemony battleships. "Deploy quantum disruptors," Peter ordered when they were in position. The frigates released small devices that attached to the hulls of the enemy ships. Once activated, these devices created fields that weakened the hegemony shields, creating gaps that human weapons could penetrate. Admiral Freeman watched the battle from her command ship. "Draw them toward Jupiter," she ordered. "Our pilots know how to use the gravity to their advantage." Human ships began to pull back in that direction, making it seem like they were retreating. The hegemony ships followed, eager to press what they thought was an advantage. As the battle moved into Jupiter's orbit, human pilots skillfully used the giant planet's strong gravity to make sharp turns that the aliens couldn't match. Several hegemony ships came too close to the gas giant's pull and were damaged by the intense pressure. But the hegemony had powerful weapons of their own. Admiral Zortek ordered his flagship to move into position near Mars. "Prepare the planet killer," he commanded. "Target the human colony on Mars. Let's show them the price of resistance." A massive weapon extended from the bottom of his ship, gathering energy. It was designed to crack a planet's crust, causing earthquakes and volcanic eruptions that would destroy all life. On Earth, scientists monitoring the battle noticed the energy buildup. "They're targeting Mars," Chief Scientist Alan Cooper shouted into his communication device. "The weapon will fire in 2 minutes." Admiral Freeman received the warning. "Activate Operation Prism," she ordered immediately. All around Mars, small satellites that had been hidden in orbit suddenly activated. They created a web of energy that surrounded the planet just as the hegemony weapon fired. When the beam hit the shield, it split into thousands of smaller beams that shot off harmlessly into space. Mars was saved, but maintaining the shield drained enormous power from Earth's defense systems. The battle had been raging for 6 hours with no clear winner. Human ships were faster and more creative in their tactics, but the hegemony had stronger weapons and more experience in space warfare. In the command center on Earth, President Powell watched the battle with General Carter at her side. "How long can we keep this up?" she asked quietly. "Not forever," he admitted, "but neither can they." And they never expected a fight like this. As night fell on Earth, the sky above glowed with distant flashes from the greatest battle in human history. The outcome remained uncertain, but one thing was clear: humanity would not be conquered easily. 3 days passed. The battle spread across the entire solar system. Both sides had lost ships, and those that remained showed damage from the long fight. Crews were tired, working without rest to keep their vessels running. Admiral Zortek sat in his command chair, studying battle reports. He had never expected such resistance from Earth. The humans fought with skill and courage that surprised him. "Send a message to our home base," he ordered. "Request reinforcements from the nearest fleet." Meanwhile, on the U.S. Defiant, Commander John Reeves met with his officers. They gathered around a table showing the 3D map of the battle. "We can't keep fighting like this forever," John said. "We need to find a way to end this quickly." Intelligence Officer Nicole Bennett spoke up. She was young but brilliant, with a special talent for finding patterns others missed. "Sir, I've been studying the debris from the destroyed hegemony ships," she said. "I noticed something about their power systems." She touched the display, showing close-up images of alien technology. "Their main power cores create a special pattern of energy," she explained. "If we could create the same pattern but stronger, it might interfere with their systems." John leaned forward, interested, like how a strong radio signal can drown out a weaker one. Nicole nodded. "Exactly. We could build a device that creates this energy pattern and amplifies it. If we can get it close enough to their main fleet, it might disable their ships temporarily, giving us the chance to strike," John finished. "Good work, Bennett. Get with engineering and start building this device immediately." In another part of the solar system, Dr. Olivia Martinez continued studying the alien communications they had intercepted. She worked in a secure room on Earth, surrounded by computers and translation equipment. After days without sleep, she made an important discovery. She immediately called President Powell. "Madam President," she said excitedly, "I've learned something crucial about the hegemony. They aren't just conquerors, they're collectors." "What do you mean?" asked the president. "They conquer planets to add their unique qualities to the empire," explained Dr. Martinez. "They take technology, resources, art, even people with special skills. But they have a rule. If a species can fight well enough to impress them, they offer them partnership instead of slavery." "And you think our resistance has impressed them?" "I believe so," said Dr. Martinez. "Their communications show they're discussing us differently now. They're calling us worthy opponents instead of primitives." President Powell understood the importance of this information, so there might be a way to end this without destroying each other. Back in space, Commander Eric Davis prepared for a dangerous mission. He and his team would take 3 small, fast ships into the heart of the hegemony fleet. Their goal was to plant Nicole Bennett's resonance device near the enemy flagship. "This mission is volunteer only," Eric told his crew. "It's extremely dangerous." Every crew member stayed at their post, ready to go. The 3 ships launched from the Defiant, using special stealth technology to hide from enemy sensors. They moved slowly and carefully through the battlefield, avoiding detection. When they reached the enemy fleet, they attached themselves to larger hegemony ships like remeras on sharks. Slowly, they worked their way toward the center where Admiral Zortek's flagship waited. At the same time, Admiral Freeman opened a direct communication channel to the hegemony fleet. Her face appeared on their main screen. "Admiral Zortek," she said, "this battle has gone on long enough. Both sides have shown their strength. Perhaps it's time we talk." Zortek was surprised by the offer, but also relieved. His ships had taken heavy damage, and reinforcements were days away. "Very well, Admiral Freeman," he replied. "I am willing to hear what you have to say." What the alien commander didn't know was that this was a distraction. While they talked, Commander Davis's team reached their target and attached the resonance device to the hull of Zortek's flagship. The device activated, sending powerful energy waves through the entire hegemony fleet. Ship after ship lost power as their systems overloaded. The turning point of the battle had arrived. Lights flickered on the hegemony flagship as the resonance device did its work. Admiral Zortek gripped the arms of his command chair as systems failed around him. "What is happening?" he demanded. "Unknown energy pattern affecting our power systems," reported a technician. "It's spreading through the fleet. 40% of our ships are disabled." On the U.S. Defiant, Commander John Reeves watched as hegemony ships drifted powerless in space. The plan had worked better than expected. Admiral Freeman's face appeared on his screen. "Commander, prepare a boarding party. We're going to capture Admiral Zortek's flagship." "Yes, Admiral," John replied. He turned to his security chief. "Prepare the team. Full combat gear." Before they could launch, however, a message came from Admiral Zortek. "Admiral Freeman," the alien commander said, his yellow eyes narrow but calm. "It seems you have gained the upper hand. I propose we meet to discuss terms." Admiral Freeman considered this. "Very well. We will meet on neutral ground, the moon Charon, near Pluto. Each side may bring 3 representatives." Zortek agreed. As the resonance device was deactivated, the hegemony ships regained power but remained in defensive positions. The human fleet maintained battle readiness, watching for any tricks. 2 days later, small ships from both sides landed on the icy surface of Charon. A temporary dome had been set up with air and heat for the meeting. Admiral Freeman led the Earth delegation, accompanied by Dr. Olivia Martinez and diplomatic expert Robert Mitchell. Admiral Zortek brought 2 high-ranking officials called Imperial Assessors. "Admiral Freeman," Zortek began formally, The galactic hegemony acknowledges your impressive defense of your system. Few species have shown such capability. We're full of surprises, Admiral Freeman replied. Now let's discuss your immediate withdrawal from our solar system. The negotiations were tense. The hegemony representatives tried several times to offer favorable terms of surrender that would give Earth special status within their empire. Each time, Admiral Freeman firmly refused. Earth will remain free, or we will continue fighting until one side can fight no more. During a break, Lieutenant Amanda Cooper, who stood guard near the Earth delegation, noticed one of the alien assessors opening a small container. Her sharp eyes caught sight of a fine mist being released toward the Earth representatives. "Bioweapon," she shouted, quickly activating a personal shield device that all the humans wore. The shield created a bubble of clean air around each person, protecting them from the mist. The room erupted in chaos. Security teams from both sides drew weapons. Admiral Freeman stared at Zortek with cold anger. Is this how the hegemony conducts diplomacy? With poison? For the first time, Admiral Zortek looked truly shaken. He turned to the assessor who had released the mist. "Explain yourself." The assessor stood tall. "The humans have proven too dangerous. The High Council ordered their elimination if diplomacy failed." "You acted without my authority," Zortek said angrily. He turned to Admiral Freeman. "I did not order this. I give you my word." The meeting nearly collapsed, but Dr. Martinez urged caution. "Admiral," she said quietly to Freeman, "there may be more going on here than we understand." After security was tightened, the talks cautiously resumed. This time, Admiral Zortek spoke more openly. "The truth is, Admiral Freeman, the hegemony itself faces a threat. A force from beyond the rim of our galaxy approaches. We have been conquering worlds partly to gather resources and technologies to defend against this coming enemy. And that justifies enslaving other species," Robert Mitchell asked. "It is our way," Zortek replied. "But your resistance has shown the humans might be more valuable as allies than as subjects. Your creativity in battle, your unexpected technologies, these could help against the greater threat." Admiral Freeman studied the alien carefully. "So now you offer alliance instead of conquest." "I am authorized to offer Earth membership in the hegemony as an equal partner," Zortek said, "with full rights to govern yourselves and develop your technologies. In return, you would join our defense against what comes from beyond the rim." The Earth delegation exchanged glances. This was unexpected, but it might be the best possible outcome. "We will need to consult with our leaders," Admiral Freeman said. "But I believe we can work toward an agreement that respects both our peoples." 1 month after the hegemony ships first appeared in Earth's sky, they prepared to leave. But this time, they left not as enemies, but as new allies. In the White House, President Susan Powell signed the Treaty of Seoul, officially making Earth an equal member of the galactic hegemony. Admiral Zortek signed for the hegemony, his yellow eyes showing genuine respect as he looked at the human leader. "Your people have earned this place among the stars," he said. "Few species have stood against us. None have impressed us so much." President Powell nodded. "We hope this marks the beginning of a productive partnership." Outside the White House, crowds gathered to watch the ceremony on large screens. Many still felt uncertain about the aliens who had threatened them just weeks ago. But when the treaty was signed, cheers erupted across the city. For the first time, Earth's secret fleet flew openly in the skies. Ships that had been hidden for decades performed impressive flight displays over major cities. People watched in amazement as they realized how prepared their leaders had been for this moment. On the deck of the U.S. Defiant, Commander John Reeves received new orders. President Powell and Admiral Freeman stood before him. "Commander Reeves," said the President, "you are hereby promoted to captain and given command of a new ship, the U.S. Ambassador." John saluted sharply. "Thank you, Madam President." Admiral Freeman handed him a tablet with his mission details. "Your assignment is to travel to the hegemony capital world with a team of diplomats, scientists, and military advisors. You will represent Earth in the Galactic Council. John looked at the orders with a mixture of pride and nervousness. He would be the first human to see the heart of the alien civilization. Meanwhile, in a large new research facility built near Geneva, Dr. Olivia Martinez and Chief Engineer Samantha Wright led a joint team of human and hegemony scientists. They studied the information Zortec had shared about the mysterious threat from beyond the galaxy's edge. Their technology is advanced, Samantha said as she examined alien designs. But they lack our creativity. Together, we might develop defenses they never imagined. Dr. Martinez nodded. And this is just the beginning. Imagine what we'll learn from the other species in the hegemony. 1 week later, the U.S. ambassador prepared for its historic journey. The ship was larger and more advanced than any previous human vessel, incorporating the best of both human and hegemony technology. Captain Reeves stood on the bridge, looking at his crew. They were the best Earth had to offer: pilots, engineers, scientists, and diplomats from every nation. "All systems ready," Captain reported his first officer. "Very well," John said. "Take us out." The ambassador rose smoothly from its dock in orbit. As it passed the moon, a hegemony cruiser fell into formation beside it as an escort for the journey. On Earth, President Powell addressed the United Nations. Giant screens showed the ambassador departing the solar system. "Today marks a new chapter in human history," she said. "For centuries, we looked to the stars and wondered if we were alone. Now we know we are not. And thanks to our preparation and courage, we enter the galactic community not as subjects, but as equals." She paused, looking at the faces before her. "The path ahead will not be easy. We face challenges we can hardly imagine. But humanity has proven that we will never surrender in the face of threats. Instead, we adapt, we overcome, and we endure." As the U.S. ambassador reached the edge of the solar system, it activated its jump drive. In a flash of light, it disappeared into the vastness of space, carrying humanity's hopes toward a future among the stars. Earth had faced its greatest challenge and not only survived but thrived. The journey had just begun.